Job chapter 1, through the Bible, part 3, back in the land of Uz. And there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. Job 1, verse 13. Job's children were having a high, old-time friends. They were going around from one brother's house to another, and it was a banquet every day. They were really living it up. And there came a messenger unto Job, and said, The oxen were plowing, and the asses feeding beside them. And the Sabaeans fell upon them, and took them away. Yea, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Job 1 verses 14 and 15. Here Job has been having a rather nice life, and then suddenly things begin to happen. He didn't even know he had enemies like this, but now the Sabaeans come in and take away his cattle. While he was yet speaking, there came also another, and said, The fire of God is fallen from heaven, and hath burned up the sheep and the servants, and consumed them. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Job 1, verse 16. The fire of God. That is interesting. I kid a friend of mine who is an insurance agent. You know the policy always states they are not liable if your house is destroyed by an act of God. We always blame God if something is destroyed. They were saying the same thing in that day. Why didn't he say, the fire of Satan? Who did it? Why, Satan did it. Why don't the insurance policies say, if God permits Satan to destroy my house? While he was yet speaking, there came also another, and said, The Chaldeans made out 3 bands, and fell upon the camels, and have carried them away, yea, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Job 1, verse 17. We talk about the crash of the stock market. I tell you, Job had real stock, and it was all taken away. Everything was wiped out. While he was yet speaking, there came also another, and said, Thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And, behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness, and smote the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Job 1, verses 18 and 19. Here is a tragedy beyond tragedies. All of his children are slain. A real Texas-style tornado hit that house, and all his children are killed. What would you do in a case like that? Notice what Job does. Then Job arose and rent his mantle, and shaved his head, and fell down upon the ground and worshipped, and said, Naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. In all this Job sinned not, nor charged God foolishly. Job 1, verses 20 to 22. Watch this man and listen to his testimony. Here is a viewpoint of life and a philosophy of life that Christians need today toward material things. You and I came into this world with nothing. We were naked as jaybirds when we came into this world. And we are going to leave the world the same way. Remember the old bromide, there are no pockets in a shroud? My friend, you can't take anything with you. The story is told that years ago, all the relatives were standing outside the bedroom door of the patriarch of a very wealthy family. They were waiting for the old man to die and for the family lawyer to come out. When he came, he announced to them all that the father had died. Immediately one of the more greedy ones asked, How much did he leave? And the lawyer replied, He left it all. He didn't take anything with him. That is the way it will be with all of us. It makes no difference how many deeds you have, or how strong your safety deposit box may be, what you accumulate, or how much insurance you have. When you go, and when I go, we're going just like we came into this world. It is very important for us to get this into our philosophy of life. You may be living today in an expensive home, or you may be living in a hovel. You may have a big bank account, or you may not have anything to count at all. You may have a safety deposit box filled with stocks and bonds, or you may not even have a safety deposit box. It makes no difference who you are. We're all going to leave the same way we came into this world. Whatever you have, you are simply a steward of it. Really, in the final analysis, it does not belong to you, does it? This man Job falls down, and he worships God. Oh yes, he rent his mantle, he shaved his head, and you could have heard this man weeping half a mile away. He has lost everything, even his sons and his daughters. But he says, "The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." My friend, whatever you have, the Lord gave it to you, and he can take it away if he wishes. He is going to hold you and me responsible for how we use the things he permits us to have. That is the reason that in 2 Corinthians, Paul calls us all stewards. A steward handles what belongs to someone else. God is going to ask us how we used his material things. Everything down here is his, and you are just using them. When you leave, you won't be taking them with you. Job understood this, and he did not lose his faith. He is still holding on to God. In all this Job sinned not, nor charged God foolishly.